You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the Interactive Interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com. Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio. Joining me on the Newsmaker line for the second time in as many months is a gentleman who I will admit I was super impressed by when I saw him on July 13th at the Live on Broadway show by PCW AZ. He is the PCW AZ Heavyweight Champion. He is CLAS. Are you with me, sir?
I'm here. I did so well, and I'm so good, you had to have me on twice.
You did, and I was really impressed. You also dwarfed me at the end when we were walking out. I walked past you. It's like I felt like a third grader and like walking past the school teachers because you guys Hammerstone and you were standing there, and I'm like, wow, I'm a small guy. I didn't realize that, but there you go.
Well, I appreciate you putting me in the same size breath as Hammerstone, but appreciate it. And it was good to see you, and that's something we hear a lot is very impressed with with the skills and the wrestling ability and also the size. So it always feels good, even though we hear it a little bit.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we're here to talk a little bit about another Live on Broadway show, which will be coming up in just a couple weeks, which will be happening at the Skyline High School here in Mesa, literally just down the road from my house. I can't wait to going to be a short transit day for me to go to see that show. But
well, we just appreciate you so much that we had to bring it closer to you.
Yeah, maybe next time in my backyard. That'll work. Well, I'll tell you what. The show that I went to, you guys had a little bit of a mixed bag of results. You guys won the tag match, but unfortunately, the conquering hero, if you will, Jon Wolfgang, did end up going the distance and winning the Battle Royal despite your best efforts. Thoughts on the mixed bag of results from the July 13th show?
Yeah, so tag match, no surprise. Devin Reno and I were the best tag team going right now in professional wrestling, and so it was no surprise that we got the victory. As far as Wolfgang somehow surviving that whole Battle Royal and winning in the end, it was a fluke. I've said this last time I was on, and I'll say it again. I've never lost to him. I've never gotten close to losing to him. And so the fact that he went all the way through is some miracle in the world today. And so going into it, man, to be honest, I played golf last weekend. I'm playing golf this weekend, and I'm not overly preparing too much because it's going to be an easy night for me once again with Wolfgang.
Very good, very good. And in the Battle Royal, we got to see a little bit of your maybe a little bit of Eddie Guerrero in you with the coming out dressed in a mask. It kind of reminded me of if you've ever seen Pepsi Man, the Japanese commercial. Kind of reminded me of that when you came out, though. It was pretty cool. Did you like doing that kind of thing, donning the mask? And by the way, I want to tell you, I didn't think it was you when you took the mask. I was like, I didn't think that was going to be him under that mask. But there you go.
Oh, good. Yeah, the goal was to fool. But first and foremost, Wolfgang, and then everyone else. But to be honest, it was fun doing it. I don't know if it was something I'd want to do, on a consistent basis. And I'll be completely honest. The toughest part about that for me was it's tough to breathe in there. Like I'm not used to having anything in front of my face, and it's kind of like, think of it like Under Armour material. And so that's like right sucked up against your face. So if you remember, I came out and I did a lap around the ring. And by that point, man, I was sucking wind pretty hard.
You had Ultimate Warrior yourself already. You blew up on the entrance.
Yeah, exactly. But Ultimate Warrior didn't have anything obstructing, well, besides his massive size. But that was the difference. Is I was like breathing through a straw in there.
Yeah, you might have gotten a little more appreciation for the luchadors that wear the masks all the time.
Oh, 100%. Not only breathing, but then seeing too. Like I assume a lot of the masks are pretty well suited to be able to see and have a good range of vision. But we'll just say this one was thrown together, and we didn't take into account too much about the breathing and the seeing. So we could have been more prepared in that regard.
Well, you pulled it off pretty good, and it was great to see. And Devin Reno, by the way, I want to give him a little praise. I'm going to be having him on tomorrow. I don't even know if you know that.
Perfect.
But Devin Reno is going to be joining us tomorrow. You guys really impressed me. And one of the things I loved about PCW AZ is I've been to local WWE shows. Well, not local ones, but ones that came locally. I've been to local AEW shows. And one thing you guys did that I loved is that there was so many more kids and families, like grandmothers and grandkids in the crowd. That was really cool to see, various ages. And Devin Reno really had some fun playing with some of the younger kids who would say, like, you suck, and really had some fun with them. You guys really did play to the live audience in a way that kind of struck me as this is really what I miss about pro wrestling a little bit. We missed that a little bit on the when you're playing to the TV camera only. So I think that was a really cool thing to see. How did you and Devin Reno end up being a paired unit?
Yeah, well, first let me just say a couple things about Devin. He's absolutely incredible. I'm very thankful that we are working together all over the place, and we're meshing really well, and we're doing great things. And so he's been awesome to be with. But the way we got together, so I guess I'm kind of the longest tenured student in the wrestling school. And so I'd been around for a while, and he came in, and so I was one of his mentors coming in. And in 2022, I had to take the year off for a shoulder surgery. And at that point is when he was really coming up, and everywhere he would go, they would just tell him, man, you remind me a lot of CLAS. You remind me a lot of CLAS. And so he heard this over and over, and me being out for the year and him being on the road for a year kind of without me, people just got that in their heads. And so they're like, all right, when CLAS comes back, we're putting you together. We're putting you together. And so we went with it, and we kind of struck lightning in a bottle there because it's working extremely well. We have great chemistry together. We look similar enough, and we have a good look, just in the ring together. And it's just been a blast since we've been together. And so when I came back in January of 23, so about a year and a half ago, and it's just been go ever since. And we've been making a pretty solid name for ourselves. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were named Tag Team of the Year last year, and that's got to be a hell of an honor too, to get that honor and be recognized as such.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick, I want to go back to your comment about, the fans that we have at PCW AZ, right? With the grandparents, the kids, just the mixed bag of everyone. I think it's really a shout out to our influences. So, the leaders of the school, they have more of that old school mindset. And so they encourage all the kids coming in to watch the old stuff, and they preach the old stuff because what's old is new. Right. And so if you watch a lot of those old promotions like Mid-South and all the other ones around, you'll see a lot of that diversity in the crowd of it's not only the 18 to 26-year-old guys, it's a little bit of everyone. And I think that's really what they're trying to get to. And I've talked about it last time with the effect that this company has on the community. And you can see it there with the people that show up to the show. You got a little something for everyone. And when we have people who are good at interacting and letting the crowd into it a little bit, like Devin and I do, it just makes it that much more of a great experience that they can, go back to work on Monday or go to breakfast or whatever the next week and tell their friends about it. And then they bring more. And each couple months that we have a show, more and more come. And I think that's just a testament to the leaders at PCW AZ and the product they're putting out, which is really, really cool.
It is cool. And when I was leaving, the security guard, and I don't want to get out him, I don't know his name, I didn't even say hello to him, but the security guard was on the phone with him. He's like, they filled it up. They had 500 people here today, and they're going to do 1,500 people in a couple months. They've got something here. And I thought, hearing a security guard who's just, that's what he is, a security guard. He may be a wrestler himself. I don't know. But hearing him say that was really cool, and it kind of makes it also have the family feel of everybody kind of rooting for the success and the continued growth of the promotion.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that comes from having a good professional and really fun experience, right? From top to bottom, when you walk in, it's organized. You have, you have the seats lined up, everything's in a fad. You have food, you have the merchandise, and then you have a quick, but also really professional product that they put out. And I think that makes those events really, really special. Well,
this was going to come up a little bit later, but I'll ask it now. This is a bigger venue. This is a 1,500 seater is what they're describing it as, what they're going to have it laid out for. You're getting to territories that are, bigger than your average indie show when you do something like that. What's your thoughts going on to a show that is 3 times as many capacity as the last one we just went to?
It's exciting. It's really exciting, and it's also not to gas myself up, but I've been the champion since May of last year, and since then the growth is undeniable. And I've been on the top of the card for each event we've had since then. And guess what? We're about to do 1,500 people in a new venue, and that's a testament to, again, well, maybe to gas myself up, that's a testament to me putting on quality wrestling matches. And also it's a testament to the people behind the scenes. It's a testament to the talent that they bring in, and everyone from top to bottom is doing their job. And so it's really exciting, not only to be a part of it, but also just to see the fruits of everyone's labor kind of come to fruition.
Very cool. I agree. And I will go back to the 28th, September 28th in just a few minutes, but going back to what we were talking about with Devin Reno, is there a benefit or is there a negative for you guys being kind of so closely packaged together? Is it harder for you guys to kind of get the attention of the other wrestling promotions, the WWE, TNA, AEWs of the world, as a tag team, when tag team wrestling, unfortunately, isn't as featured as maybe it should be these days?
So that's a good question, and something him and I have talked a lot about, and you said it right there. Tag team wrestling is not at the forefront of fans' minds, of promotions' minds. And also what that means is that there's not going to be a long list of people when they do need a tag team here, when they do need a tag team at WWE, TNA, wherever. And so we also look around at the competition too, and of all the tag teams there are, and a lot of the tag teams that we see, we have, number one, a different look, a different style, and we're bigger in weight and height than a lot of people. And so that puts us on a short list of, okay, if we need a tag team to fit that mold, there's us, and then there's not a lot of other people beyond that, right? So we feel like we're setting ourselves up to be unique and fit that niche whenever the time does come. And so we're really doubling down with what we're doing and getting our name out there, and just focusing on putting on really quality matches from time to time, from day to day.
Very cool. I told you in the text I sent you I was going to pick your brain a little bit. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions, just picking your brain and getting your opinion on certain things in the landscape of wrestling right now?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. So the question I have is, a couple weeks ago, it kind of broke and then it was kind of denied, but you still kind of keep it in the back of your mind of, is it going to happen? There's some rumors, some scuttlebutt about possibly seeing the WWE move their performance center out of Orlando and to Las Vegas, a place that you and Devin in particular wrestle a lot for Future Stars of Wrestling. What do you think of the idea of WWE moving their performance center over to Las Vegas, and do you think it would have an impact on the local wrestling community that's currently there?
Yeah, I think first off, if that was true, I think it would certainly have an impact on the local community. I think you kind of see this already in Vegas, but a lot of the guys who are living in Vegas now, guys and girls who are living in Vegas, have moved there from other places to get to be a part of a bigger scene, a wrestling scene. And so with the performance center potentially going there, I think that only increases, and that's just going to attract better and more talent like crazy, which I think is always a good thing. I'm a big fan of competition, and competition's how we all get better. I think it would be pretty fantastic for us, obviously, if that was the case. And I wonder, this is my thought about it too, is I wonder if, back, 20 some years ago, they had the FCW areas, so in Florida, and then they had the Deep South, right? So they had a couple different developmental territories, and I'm wondering if there's any truth to this, if it's something like that, because they really don't have a presence like that on the West Coast. And so I wonder if this would be sort of like their modern version of Deep South, another developmental territory that then might get people ready to go to Orlando, that then might get people ready to go on TV, something along those lines, because they've been in the South, in the East and the Southeast for so long. I don't know what the benefit would to be completely up and moving shop. I would make sense to me that they're opening a second one that's maybe more of a developmental system. Those are my thoughts anyways.
That's a great thought. I think that's a great idea. And I actually had FSW, Florida Wrestling, written down. So you kind of answered my next question a little bit there. So that's perfect. You mentioned your 18-month plan. And that came to mind the other day when I was watching NXT and I saw Hammerstone walk down the ring on NXT. And that was really cool to see. Hammerstone's a guy that I literally watched Paragon Pro Wrestling on Pop TV, which,
Sure.
that goes back almost 10 years. I saw him, in his somewhat infancy in pro wrestling. And now, there he is. He made it to WWE TV. Does seeing a guy like Hammerstone walk down the ring for NXT kind of sweeten the pot if the 18-month plan had you an offer from, say, TNA or somebody like that? Does their working relationship with NXT make them a more desirable place to go?
Absolutely. And that's somewhere where, and you'll probably learn this when you talk to Devin tomorrow, but that's somewhere where we've always really been interested in going. It's kind of been at the top of our list as one of the couple places we'd really, really like to go. But that certainly sweetens the pot, right? Just opportunities and the talent swap they're doing back and forth and different things like that. And it seems like that promotion from the outside looking in is really on the come up right now. And so obviously we'd want to be a part of something that's kind of seemingly growing and people are really excited about. And then the relationship with WWE is just a massive, massive added bonus. So that's something, seeing Hammerstone on there is just like, man, he did it. He did it, and it's only going to keep getting better for him from there. So very, very exciting to see that.
Very cool. A couple months ago when I was at the show, I got to meet Jerry Lynn. I know Jerry Lynn did some stuff at the training center as well. Zamaya told me that he was going to be doing training as well with the kind of the upperclassmen and all that kind of stuff. I know you kind of joked last time around that if Jerry wants to get back in the ring, you'd knock him down too, just like you did the others. But what was it like learning under Jerry Lynn's learning tree?
It was really eye-opening, and it was really cool. So I mentioned earlier that our trainers at the training center here in Phoenix, they really preach kind of old school style, fundamental psychology and things like that. And so a lot of what Jerry Lynn said was exactly what we've been taught since the very beginning, which was cool to hear that. And also he just brought in a lot of new perspectives and ideas and things like that. And so we all felt like there was a lot of people there at the training, the seminar that he did with us. And so not a lot of us had a ton of time in the ring to get feedback, but we all did have an opportunity to wrestle in front of him and give feedback. And each person that wrestled got very rich feedback. And he really took time to break down and explain what he meant, why this was right, why this was wrong, and how to do it differently next time. And then also at the show, he was there too. And he was awesome, like more than willing to sit and talk with anyone for as long as needed about the match and about what he liked, again, what he would have done differently and why. So it just seems like an awesome person who I think would really just excel in a training situation because his knowledge is so great and because he's willing to sit and talk with people about it. He loves wrestling. He told a little bit of his story, which is incredible. And it seems like he could talk about it and work in it all day, which is really cool to be around someone like that.
Very cool. And he's kind of the opposite. I know I said when I was leaving and I walked past you guys, you made me feel like a third grader. Standing next to him, I was about the same size as him. I'm like, in my mind, he's like a giant. And, in reality, he's a smaller guy. But, I guess because he didn't work like one, you just didn't view him as one. That might be the reason.
Yeah, and again, that's also why I told you I'd beat the crap out of him if he tried to step in the ring with me.
There you go. All right, so we mentioned it earlier in the show, but the main event coming up here on Live on Broadway, it's going to be you defending the PCW AZ Heavyweight Championship against Wolfgang. There must be a winner, and for those who don't know, that's because, as you said earlier, he never beat you. You never beat him, though, as far as I know. What's your thoughts heading into the main event, and what can we expect to be the outcome?
You can expect at the end of the match, once again, for the 17,000th time, I'm going to be standing tall over his lifeless carcass, holding my PCW AZ Heavyweight Championship belt high in the air, and him to fail once again. You can't knock how tenacious he is, how bad he wants it, and I hate to say you can't knock his work effort, but champions are champions, losers are losers. They're that for a reason. And so you're going to see the same result. You're going to get a great match. He always does put up a little bit of a fight. It's kind of like a little bulldog nipping at your heels, but some things are inevitable in this life. And CLAS, being the heavyweight champion of PCW AZ, is inevitable.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Again, that's Skyline High School here in Mesa, Arizona. I will post the link when I post this online so people can get tickets for the remaining tickets that are out there. I know you guys have sold a ton already. So I wish you the best of luck. And before I let you go, can I ask you for a favor that I didn't ask for last time?
Please.
Do you mind if I ask for a station ID? Just saying this is CLAS and you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
Absolutely. This is Christopher, Landon, Anthony Streeter, CLAS, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
This is Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Oh, Rush.
Featuring the interactive interview.
Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Formerly The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze rock.
Yo, maniacs, so what you gonna do when a place of maniacs runs wild on you?
On WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And now we shamelessly name drop from our history.
The Wrestling Epicenter would like to apologize for the following.
All right, everybody. Viva la raza. Viva la raza.
Hey, y'all.
Hammerstone. Hello, ladies.
Hey, guys. We had a lovely conversation. First lady. Absolutely. Oh, look at me. She's so kooky.
Be there. Where else?
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Oh, my God. You win. Wow. Interactive.
Whoa. I just got some listen. I was not shooting. Yeah, I almost missed my pants. Breaking neck. I got 2 words for you. I've heard a lot about you guys. We're here. We'll go. Excuse my language. You're going to go to the shop. I see 'em now. We're into the many.
No nerves.
That was great. It's going to be cool. Woo. What it's all about. The purest point of view. The living legend. Rock and roll. Arrogant.
You're listening to me.
Instead of statement, I'm talking to you. Charisma.
So lonely without you.
Yeah.
In the land of extreme.
Testify. Nevermore. Interactive interview. I'm not just the best. Interactive interview with a plastic
You
head.
earned the right.
Nobody. You better keep listening. Thank you very much. Controversy creates cash. Professional wrestling.
Made in the USA, baby.
Memphis wrestling. The guy on fire. I'm not
We were sexy.
What a show.
One and only.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling
Epicenter.
Interactive interview. We took care of the business. This isn't ballet. We are huge with this whole. You're where it's at. You better recognize who's the best. If you're smart, make sure you tune in each and every week. I'll come out of your computer, knock down your door, and turn it on for you. Or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in. And that's the bottom line. Have a nice day.
It's showtime!
Don't forget to like and subscribe.